Howdy. Thanks for joining me in the garden today. I'm Jimmy. Ooh, nice clear blue skies. Beautiful day for a heart-to-heart talk. So I talk a lot about spirituality, a lot of intangible things that you could get in your imagination, you could think about, be creative with, Like in my last video, I was talking about this perfect balance between the infinite mind, the infinite creativity that you can have versus the temporary life you're going to live. How things are growing old, as they say here, and then one day, we'll all be dust in the wind, right? So, I figured today's a good talk for the temporary times we live in. I want to talk about money, and I want to make the point of how money creates artificial scarcity, and it also gives some people unlimited power, and how it's not natural. It's not something that came from nature. I've debated people, talked about this idea of money with people, and how I really haven't found anybody that agrees with me that we need to get rid of money. It's like it's the root of all evil. It's not the love of money, okay? It is actually the root of all the evil going on around you every single day. And if there wasn't a money system and people that are able to print the money, make unlimited amounts of it, and then control others with it, you wouldn't have scarcity. You wouldn't have warfare. You couldn't have all this artificial... Like, you couldn't have a small group of people injecting their influence into the entire world like they have been. Briefly, I'll just talk about, the United States, and you just go back to 1913. They created the Federal Reserve. So basically, the government has been a tool of evil the whole time it's existed, but it's a tool to keep gaining power. Like, it's a non-stop runaway power train with government. So they were able to give a private bank in 1913, the Federal Reserve, they gave a private bank the right to create money out of thin air. Just research it, look it up. All these little notes that you have are debt notes that you've agreed to go into debt for. And these people generate debt. It's kind of like the root of slavery is money. I get pretty fired up when I talk about this stuff because it's so obvious to me. And I can't understand how people don't see it. How it's the idea that somebody gets to control all the energy in this realm. Because money, currency, energy, it's all the same thing. You go work for a debt note, you expend your energy, you give your life away for a piece of paper that these people print. And it's become so insanely unnatural, and to see it manifest through my lifetime, see the corruption grow in people and in the people who have all the money, using the money to corrupt them. It just has to be said. It has to be pointed out by somebody. Money is unnecessary. It's an idol. It's become the god of this realm. Everybody raises up every day to go make money instead of just being, instead of just living. There's this idea drilled into their head that they need to keep making this thing to stay alive and to enjoy this place and to have a cohesive society. If you think what's going on was ever natural, was ever the way we could live here, like this is how it has to be. Like there has to be some trade. That's all I ever hear from people. I see the animals living fine without money. I mean, they're way wiser than the people of this age that would trade peace and harmony and purity. I mean, all of the corruption that money has created. It's just, and I just feel like all this is playing out so that we learn and that nature can see what happens when we just turn away from nature and use it to control things and people. It's been a great experience to see all this and to realize it was never necessary. It's going backwards. It's going the wrong way for a long, long time. These people who have money and use it to control others. And how if people were raised in nature and raised to grow their own food, to build their own shelters, to sing and dance and relax, this place would explode with abundance. Their creativity would be off the charts. If schools didn't exist to create the artificial scarcity in all the children's minds, you wouldn't even need money. There would be no thought. Like you could live in an entire place where everybody is so abundant, you couldn't even imagine having money. That's just the way I see it. This has all been artificially implanted in everybody. This idea to serve money their entire lives and how it protects them, and how you have systems of money and insurance, right? You just keep making money, give it to the insurance, and then they'll take care of you. Just turning your back on nature and the reality right around you. Being sucked dry your whole life. Taking the artificial route of living. That's where the zombie apocalypse comes from. Like, it's not that one day zombies are going to come out of their graves and walk around. You're surrounded by zombies right now. They have no creative energy. They've given it to money. And then these people that have all the money, they create Hollywood. They create all of the food to keep you addicted to the poisonous sodas and the foods, keep you addicted to the pornography and the nasty people in Hollywood that they're trying to get you to look up to these people in Hollywood and make you feel less about yourself all the time. It's a giant game being played on humanity. And I don't see it lasting much longer. It's gone in my life. Like, I basically look at it like a big joke. It has no power over me. Money is the root of all this evil you see around you every day. It's not the love of it. It is the root of evil. And I think back on when I was a Christian, and that was one of my mottos, is money's okay, right? But the love of money is the evil thing, right? It's, And then just to really put it all in perspective, as a Christian, as a Catholic, whatever, you're taught to give 10% of your money back to God, back to the church. And how it's like it's just spitting in the face of this God that you believe in, that you would only give the God 10% and you'd keep the 90%, instead of giving your all to God, right? Your creator, the one that made you. You're going to say, like, you only get 10%, but then the 90% gets to go to me and my selfishness and, and then when you really look at it, the government gets way more money than that 10% from you if you're a good little government slave, and pay your taxes. And just how spirituality has been flipped on its head. And the further I get from needing money, it's just so easy to realize this. If you didn't have people chasing, like there's people going around trying to take money from individual people that aren't paying a system that creates the money. I mean, it's the most insane artificial reality of artificial scarcity through fear, intimidation, and ultimately idolization. People have all these false idols in this age, surrounded by every false imitation of life you could imagine. Instead of using their energy, growing it, becoming strong, they sit there in front of a screen and trade stocks and whittle away. And then they have all these numbers in a machine somewhere, but they have no life force left. And as I grow in my life force and I tap deeper into the energy here, it's horrifying to see like what people have become. Seeing like they're not flexible. The money drains their flexibility and zeroes them into this tiny little, fear-driven, every year I have to pay up mentality. Just the absence of freedom. And then how this money, my God, it's given these people unlimited power to pervert this place on such a massive scale. I've had all of these, what would you say, projects in my life of trying to unite people. And it's like you're kind of tricked in to a fake unification as a child. You're taught that, there's a country and everybody needs to be your country and your country needs to conquer everybody, no matter where you're at in the world. That's what they're kind of saying, is everybody needs to be like this. And that's not how we unite. That's how you divide. And then the next thing you might fall into is religion, which I did. I was Christian, and I figured everybody believe in God, and we'll unite. That's the dumbest stuff ever. There will always be people that know it's a fake story being told of them. There's no tangible anything about the Bible. It's just a regurgitated story with half-truths in it. If it didn't have any truth in it, it wouldn't work. But if you take all the truth and then you warp it in a certain direction to serve a certain group of people, you just never be unified that way. And then I kind of got in, lately, maybe 5 years ago, I got on the flat earth. I call it level earth. I figured, okay, this is how we all unite. We're not moving. We're motionless. The sun and the moon go above us. They've been lying to you. They've been tricking you, about just existence and how it works. There are no planets. It's all lights up there. I've been using my camera to investigate all this for years now. You're going to tell me we're spinning and that I can't feel it? How in the heck how could you ever scientifically measure that? Everything here has to be observed and repeatable over and over and over again. It's just, but I figured that, oh man, now there's all these spiritual people like, I don't even care what the shape is. Why would I care? Everything is a hologram. It doesn't matter. I think it matters. That's why I care about it, and I just want the truth of it all. I don't, but that ain't gonna unify people. Like just the physical place we're in and how it works. That's not gonna unify us. I've learned. So now my latest idea on uniting humanity is kind of exposing what's going on in the skies, right? I'm thinking not everybody, but anybody with an open mind that can look up in the sky and see the trails, and then they see the big white sheet come block the sun. That's I just think humanity could unite around that obvious fact that they've been able to gather so much money, so much energy, that now it's like end game time. It's time to block the sun and keep them sick with cell towers and dark signals from their Wi-Fi military devices. They're all smart devices, secret military arms in residential technology. Anything that's smart cars, smart meters, it's all military tech. Like, when you really get this deep perspective about what's going on in this realm right now, we're all militarily occupied by psychological warfare, psychological operations our entire lives. I mean, it started hundreds of years ago with this idea that there's a king, there's a ruler, and you're just a serf and a servant of their kingdom. It doesn't end unless you stop it. And I came to this realm to speak fire. And I'm going to make more videos about the sky and how I'm clearing the sky with my little jars of vinegar and my deep connection to the sun. The sun clears it from above, I'm clearing it from below. There's no fear involved. Like, they're trying to block the sun because they're afraid of these deep connections all of us could have with it. And we wouldn't look at their screens anymore. Like, I'm getting away from the computer, just staying outside and looking at nature. The real light, the real life, instead of the artificial life that they've created to trap us in. And I realize I got to use their weapons against them. Just the way it works. It's the way nature is. Nature takes its time. It observes very patiently, figures out the correct strategy to go about peacefully healing things. And you just wonder when that time will come. When will the peace and the harmony overwhelm all of humanity's distortions and disconnections? Because they're artificial. They will not last in eternity. So I always talk about the eternal things, because we'll be here in another 100 years with some other adventure, and those eternal lessons, those eternal truths will be relevant then as they are now. But there might not be a money system then. Who knows? I think they want to move it into like selling parts of your brain. And like get rid of money and like advertise on my arm. I'll advertise for McDonald's on my arm if you pay me, $50 a day. I see it moving toward money is just an idea like everything else. And it's It's evolving like we are. I could go on and on about this stuff, but I'll try to keep this shorter. I love you guys. Enjoy yourselves. Get out in nature. Get money out of your mind for a while and really reflect on what you're doing here. And do it. No hesitation.